Hello, I'm Jerry Fort. This is a story time. This is number 11. This is number 11, part 11. See that? I said I was going to be done with the apartment or the property management stories after 10, but I thought of some other stuff. So I thought I'd make it a part 11. Let's do that. Sometimes I would call myself a Master Scavenger because a lot of times upon move outs, I had a routine of what I would get, like even before I go in to paint. If I knew they moved out, I'll get the keys and I'll go in and see how the paint looks, see what I got to do in there. But while I'm in there, I'm gonna ransack the place, Okay, so like bottom floor apartments, a lot of times they'll have a back patio that leads from their patio to like a sidewalk or something, and they'll buy nice decorative stepping stones that goes from the back porch to the sidewalk or through the mud. If they don't want to step in the mud, they get nice stepping stones. Well, they're not going to take those with them. Yeah, I could have left them for the next person, the next move in. But then I think about, they may want their own kind of decorative stepping stones. So, what are they going to do with them? Well, I don't know. They might throw them away or something, I don't know. But I would take them. I would go by there and I would put them in the back of my van or my truck, and I would take them home and use them on my own little property, at home. But in my yard, I would stack them over next to one of my sheds. I'd stack all the stepping stones. Sometimes, you just have the concrete squares, or you'll have the octagon ones. Then you'll have the red brick octagons. I said octagon, rectangle, I meant. But they had so many different kinds, So I would take those. And a lot of times, even on the second floor, third floor, on their balcony, they'll have satellites. And they use a lot of cinder blocks to hold the satellite down from blowing around or whatever. Yeah, if I saw a satellite up there, I knew they moved out, I'd say, hey, cinder blocks, I don't know how much they cost, but they're not, real cheap, and I use them a lot for different things. So I would go up there and I would go on the balcony and I would make sure there's nobody down there, toss them off the balcony. And sometimes if there was a lot of people down there, I'd carry them down, one on each hand down the stairs and put them in my van. It was easier just to toss them off than go around and get them instead of going up and down the stairs. But so yeah, I still have a whole stack of cinder blocks. They're good for peering up, decks, peering up houses if your house is settling or something. They're just good for a lot of things. They come in handy. And then I get little things too. I mean, people leave behind like welcome mats, and they're like, some are like burlap, or some are like thick rubber, and they got sayings, different sayings on them, or different pictures, and they're in good shape. So I would take them. I mean, they're just going to get thrown away anyway. Housekeeper's going to throw them away. So I'd take the welcome mats, and if mine at home is nasty, I'd throw mine out and replace it with that new one. Or I'd give them to, my folks or something, or other family members if they need one or something. A lot of times too, they would leave things they don't think about, you know, welcome mats, they don't always think about those. Well, wind chimes, sometimes they'll hang them outside their, you know, their decks or something. And I'd take them, you know, nice ones, you know. Some are like glass and some are metal, you know, the little tubes. So yeah, I'd take those kind of things. That's really all I can think of on the outside. Now on the inside, when I'd go in, I had a routine I would check for. The bathrooms, hey, you know, toilet paper these days is not cheap. If they left rolls of toilet paper, you know, on the roll, you know, by the toilets, whether it be a two bath or whatever, I'd go in and I'd take them. I had a bag of it, you know. Sometimes they'd leave like whole packages underneath the sinks in there. They just don't think about it. And sometimes they don't want to take a lot of stuff. If they're traveling, they don't want to take stuff that they'll just get when they get to their location. So that's why they left a lot of stuff behind like that. But hey, I'd take that TP. Also, they'll leave, sometimes they'll have their own little shelves that they'll put like around the toilets on the wall, little, you know, particle board, white laminate shelves. Some are fancy, you know. Some have little cabinets on them, stuff like that. Well, we don't leave that kind of stuff in there. We only leave what the apartment's supposed to have in there. So they would probably throw those away, usually what happens. I'd take them home. If I don't want them, I'd give them, when my mom was still alive, I gave her that kind of stuff and she'd sell it. She'd have sales all the time. Another thing, sometimes people get their own little fancy ceiling fan pull chain decorative things, you know. I take those. I mean, the new people that move in, they ain't gonna want that, probably. So they'd, you know, take it off, throw it away, whatever. So I took those. Light bulbs, man, that was something big that people left behind all the time. You know, the property supplies the apartments with their own, you know, they'll change a light bulb out, but the first time, but after that, they're responsible for their own, you know, bulbs. So they'll, you know, they'll leave light bulbs behind. Back when, you know, just the regular bulbs, they started going to the energy savers, the coils, and well, they didn't, you know, they'd leave the regular ones behind, take their coils. Later on, I mean, it seemed like it wasn't that big a deal. They started leaving the energy savers behind too. Man, I had a shelf, just stacks of bulbs, man. My neighbor one time asked him if he'd be interested in some bulbs, and he says, yeah, because he's an Indian, and he works for Indian, not a reservation, but Indian Affairs or whatever. They help Indian families get, you know, jobs and houses and whatever. Anyway, it was a large, you know, outfit, and not a lot of money coming in there, I guess. I don't know. And he said they could use them there. But so anyway, I gave him a bunch of bulbs. So yeah, I still have some bulbs left from all that. Pump soap, both bathrooms and the kitchen, there'd be pump soaps there. Sometimes they're just cheapy ones, but I mean, you know, when you don't have a lot of money, who cares? I mean, it's soap. It'll wash your hands. Maybe it won't smell fancy. It still does the job, you know. So I'd take the pump soaps. Night lights they'd leave behind. I'd take those, the little bulbs, you know, and not so much the little fixtures they go into, because a lot of times those aren't needed. But let's see, cleaning chemicals they'd leave behind from cleaning the apartment. They would do their cleaning and they'd put them underneath the sink. And I mean, I would get like Comet, and Ajax, Windex. Oh man, the Windex. I used Windex a lot, so I really wanted the Windex if I found it. Toilet cleaners, you know, the kind with the curved neck. You know, that stuff ain't cheap. I would, yeah, I'd take all that stuff. Sometimes well, the little deodorizers that plug in, the plug-ins, Renews-Its and stuff, they'd leave those behind. I had a lot of those, so I'd take those. And then last but not least, doorbells. Sometimes they would install their own doorbells, the kind you plug in, and then they had a battery that had a signal, send a signal. And yeah, for a while I had a couple of those that worked. They wear out after a while, but so there you go. I'd scavenge those apartments and take all kinds of stuff that would otherwise get tossed in the garbage, but it came in handy for me. You know that saying, one man's garbage is another man's treasure. I used that. Yeah. All right, well, thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and hope you enjoyed my scavenger story. We'll see you all in the next one. Bye.